Hi everyone and welcome back. Today I will show you how to crochet this small elegant bag. It's perfect as a chic accessory, but you can also make it larger if you would like, and I will explain how in this tutorial. We are using macrame yarn and a 5.5mm crochet hook. This bag also looks great when made with a t-shirt yarn or even cotton yarn, as long as you use the right size hook. Now I should mention that working with the macrame yarn can make your hand hurt a little. It might take a bit longer to finish compared to other types of yarn, but it's worth it. I have found that changing how I position my hands when crocheting with macrame yarn has helped a lot, and now I don't feel any discomfort. Before we get started, don't forget to subscribe to my channel and follow me on social media to stay updated on all my new tutorials, link in the description box. Before we start, I want to say that the bag is made entirely from one panel, apart from the handle. My bag is about 10 inches wide and I chain 33. If you want your bag to be bigger, start with a larger number of chains. It doesn't matter if it's an even or odd number, and remember that for a bigger purse you will need more yarn. Round number 1. Starting in the second chain from the hook, make one single crochet into each chain. You should have 32 stitches altogether in round number 1. It's a good idea to mark your first stitch with a marker, especially if you are a beginner at crocheting. This way you will not get confused later on. And when finish first row, chain 1, turn your work. In the second row we will begin our special stitch. We will not insert the hook into the next stitch, but we will work behind the stitch. So we will ignore the first stitch over here. We will start behind this stitch. Insert the hook behind the stitch, like that. And now, if you see a thin neck, I mean this, it means you have placed the hook correctly, okay? So let's start. We are making a single crochets behind this stitch. Another important thing is when you make a yarn over, make sure that loop goes from the top and not from the bottom. Do not crochet from the bottom, it's wrong. In most cases it naturally goes from the top, but sometimes it might go from the bottom. If it does, move it to the top. If you don't do this, your work will not look clean and neat. It technically will be still correctly, but it will not be neat. Continue making a single crochet behind each stitch, and I will see you at the end of this row. And the last 2 stitches left, so as you can see, this one is the last stitch. This is the reason why we place the marker stitch, because you might easily skip that last stitch. And just work over this last stitch. And when finished, chain 1 and turn your work. Row number 3, starting in the first stitch, make one single crochet into each stitch. You should have 32 stitches altogether in row number 3. Row number 4, ignore the very first stitch and start to work behind the second stitch. So we will repeat row number 2 now. we will make a single crochet behind each stitch. And you should have again 32 stitches altogether in row number 4. Basically, we will repeat rows 1 and 2 until we reach row 19. So once again, repeat rows 1 and 2 until you reach row number 19. And I have finished my 19 rows. My last row is the one with the single crochets. Now let's make the bottom of our bag. Do not chain, just make 4 slip stitches. So try to make it without the chain one. On the other side, mark a 4th stitch from the end. We will make 1 single crochet until we reach the stitch with the stitch marker over here. If you are making a larger bag and want it to be wider, make 6 or 8 slip stitches on this side and place the marker on 6th or 8th stitch from the end of the other side. Remember that the more stitches you skip, the shorter your bag will be. The number of skipped stitches must be the same on both sides and even regardless of the bag size. Okay, round number 20, chain 1 and make 1 single crochet until you reach the stitch with the stitch marker. Now chain 1, turn your work and make 1 single crochet into each stitch, and you will work in the single crochets only. You will ignore last 4 slip stitches. If you initially made 4 slip stitches, now you need to make 4 rows of single crochets. If you made 6 slip stitches, now you need to make 6 rows in total. The number of slip stitches and rows must be the same. Okay, I have done my bottom. So that this is my bottom part of the bag. Now we are starting the second side. This is my row number 24. I will make exactly the same number of rows as in the previous side. So we are starting with the other stitch and we will make 24 stitches. And your next row will be the row with the single crochets. And repeat these 2 rows until you have the same number of rows on both sides of the bag. Okay, I have 19 rows from the both sides. And my last row is the one with the single crochets. Now we will even out the edges. We will make slip stitches all around. Well, almost all around. We will not make slip stitches on this edge. So chain 1. So probably you will have like 6 slip stitches every 5 rows. And on the corner make a slip stitch, then chain 1 and make a slip stitch into the same stitch, then continue. I have finished evening out the edges. Now it's time to sew our back. We will do this with a needle. So cut a longer tail about 12 inches and thread your yarn onto the needle. You can use a stitch marker to help ensure you are sewing evenly. We will join our back like this. Okay, just for secure, take the needle and first pull it through the first stitch, like this. From this side, ignore the back loops, ignore these loops. We will work only in the front loops from this side. So this, we will insert our needle under these front loops only. And from the other side, we will also insert our needle under the front loops only. Okay? And when finished, secure and hide your tail. And now the other side. Grab a piece of yarn, thread it onto the needle, insert it into the first stitch and then secure with 2 knots. And start sewing. Insert your needle under the front loop of the first stitch from one side and under front loop of the other stitch from the other side, and continue until end. Turn your work inside out. And now the last step, the handle. Your handle can be any size you like. I'm making mine not too long, 80 chains. Leave a longer tail on this side. You will use it later to sew the handle to the back. So I'm chaining 80. Starting in the second chain from the hook, make 1 single crochet into each stitch. And when finished, chain 1, turn your work, and we can start row number 2. And this row number 2 we'll do exactly the same way like we did in our back. So we will work behind the stitches, not inside the stitches, and we will make a single crochets. So work 1 single crochet behind each stitch until end of the row. When finished, cut your yarn and leave a bit longer tail for sewing. Thread the yarn onto your needle and insert the needle into the first stitch. Pull it through. And now let's sew the handle to the back. And when finished, secure and cut the yarn off. Sew the other side of the handle to the back. And that's it, that's the back is finished. I hope you guys liked the video. If you did, please leave thumbs up. Thanks for watching, bye bye.